in the road freight industry, to the taxi blockades in Port Shepstone and Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, where SAPS management and other law enforcement agencies acted with speed and great efficiency to remove these taxis that were used to barricade entry and entry in some routes. This morning, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhonazi, who is also the chairperson of the NatJoints or co-chairperson of the NatJoints, met with the disgruntled taxi operators together with representatives from Provincial Department of Transport to find solutions to the impasse. We understand the meeting is still underway in Durban. We will continue to monitor the situation through the NatJoints structure. We remain on high alert and a heavy police presence is in place to monitor and mitigate any taxi-related violence in Mthatha and Maclear in the Eastern Cape. Thus far, police have confiscated 43 firearms, licensed, which includes 38 pistols and 5 rifles from members of the Taxi Association in Mthatha for further investigation. In Maclear, 4 people have been arrested following taxi-related violence, which led to 2 deaths. 2 unlicensed firearms were also seized in that operation. All confiscated firearms have been taken in for ballistic testing to determine their links to any of the crimes that have been committed. The transport industry is once again urged to hold peaceful talks amongst each other and to find ways of amicably resolving their disputes. They are also reminded that blocking of roads is as a way of venting is a criminal offense, and law enforcement agencies will act decisively against anyone be found to be in contravention with the law. Their vehicles will be impounded and they will be brought before court to ensure to answer to crimes committed. No one is above the law, and the rule of law will always be applied accordingly to relevant prescripts. Related to the election issues, to date, we can report 27 more cases have been registered and all are under investigation. 17 of the 27 cases were reported in Limpopo. These new cases were recorded this week for a period starting from Sunday, the 19th of May, to Saturday, the 25th of May, 2024. To give a snapshot breakdown of these reported 27 cases, Limpopo, a 25-year-old man and a 9-year-old girl were shot and wounded in Seshego during a door-to-door campaign. 14 cases were registered. This includes contravention of Electoral Act, contravention of the Firearms Control Act, contravention of the Gatherings Act, 2 attempted murder cases, and a malicious damage to property case. A 44-year-old man has been arrested on a charge of attempted murder, unlawful possession of firearm and ammunition. He has already appeared in Seshego Magistrate Court and is released on a 5,000 bail with strict bail conditions. An assault GBH case was also registered in Atteridgeville in Pretoria, where a party member was putting up posters as one was then attacked by a group of men. Investigation in this case is still continuing. 6 cases which are related to vandalism and illegal removal of posters have also been registered. We take this opportunity to call for political tolerance amongst voters and members of various parties. Further to this is to reassure and reiterate our crime prevention operations that are underway. It is important to highlight that normal day-to-day policing operations continues in the form of tracing operations, roadblocks, stop and searches, and patrols. Since the inception of Operation Chanela on the 8th of May 2023, operations has led to the arrest of 643,662 suspects who were arrested for various crimes. Other operations such as Operation Valumkoti, which is a joint operation between the South African Police Service, South African National Defence Force, the Department of Home Affairs, and other law enforcement agencies are continuing. These operations are in place to prevent and combat illicit mining activities across the 7 mining provinces of our country. It is thus encouraging to note that since December 2023 to end of April 2024, more than 6,500 persons have been arrested with links to illegal mining. The majority of the arrests were made in Free State, Limpopo, Northwest, and Gauteng. 174 unlicensed firearms with more than 5,000 rounds of ammunition have been seized in these operations. More than 4 million rands in cash and uncut diamonds worth 32 million have also been seized. The Department of Home Affairs has also during this period deported 34,684 illegal foreigners. During the opening of the National Command Center on Friday, these operations received a boost with 78 vehicles that were handed over to 7 mining provinces. These much-needed resources will indeed go a long way in assisting us to prevent, combat, and put a stop to illegal mining operations. These operations will continue even during this time of the election as parallel operations to close the net in that space, because we cannot at this stage afford any vacuum. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the second phase of our 2024 NPE operational plan. A sensitive and critical stage of our operations, which requires us to heighten police visibility and ensure more boots are on the ground in all corners of the country. We therefore take this opportunity to caution responsible citizens, especially social media users, from spreading misinformation and fake news. You are all urged to verify facts first before sharing with any information which often leads to unnecessary confusion and panic. We will not tolerate any incitement of violence on any platform. Our intelligence communities and cybercrime units are closely monitoring online users. We are warned not to step out of the line. The task at hand is one that is immense, but through past experiences of ensuring a safe and secure past elections, we are confident that we are ready for this next phase. Indeed, the road to a safe, secure, and peaceful election requires the commitment and effort from all stakeholders, including our communities. We are grateful that thus far our communities and South Africans from all walks of life have continued to display responsible conduct and behavior. A reminder to all political parties that political campaigning ends midnight on the 28th of May 2024. Should this continue beyond this period, this would be a transgression and contravention of the Electoral Act. With this being said, it is more boots on the ground. Our law enforcement agencies are out there deployed to ensure everyone that will be exercising their democratic right does so in a peaceful, safe, and secure environment. We once more want to remind our law enforcement agencies to continue to apply fundamental policing principles guided by the Constitution and our laws. You are also reminded that the Department of Home Affairs will open until 1900 hours on Monday and Tuesday, and 2100 hours on Wednesday to assist those who want to apply for temporary IDs or collect their identity documents. To all voters, go out there having full confidence that the NatJoint plan is on track to protect your rights and our democracy. We are in charge. We are in control. As law enforcement agencies, we will ensure your safety through this period, and I thank you.
Thank you so much. Colleagues, that was Lieutenant General Tebelo Musikidi, the co-chair of the NatJoints. She's joined by Lieutenant General Sangweni from the SANDF. She was giving us a bird's eye view and a clear picture of what is happening across the country and law enforcement's response to all those incidents that have been reporting. As you've heard, we are ready to police the 2024 national and provincial elections. I'll now open the floor for questions. Let's take the first three if there are any.
There are no questions.
I think the camera operators are hiding the journalists with questions. If you can come forward so that we are able to see you clearly, and yeah, because I think the cameras are hiding the journalists. Okay, let's start off with ENCA.
Good afternoon, my name is Bafedile Marane. I've got only one question. There's a statement that I came across from the First Rand Group Protective Security, where they are warning that there are possible claiming of a protest in May and June, mainly because of the Umkhonto Wesizwe. They will be protesting against the exclusion of their leader, Jacob Zuma, from taking part in Parliament. Do you know anything about this? And also, will you be working with private security during these elections?
Okay. Second one, let's take the second one and then give the general an opportunity to respond, and then thereafter we'll take more hands. SABC? Okay. They are both ladies, so you choose who goes first.
Thank you. It's Kurenda from Newsroom Africa. So just two questions on the hotspot voting stations, the highest voting stations. Has that number changed, perhaps increased over the past week? And then on social media, are we monitoring any specific accounts of politicians or even influencers?
All right, thank you. Okay, General, let's start off with the R&B statement. Are we aware and are we ready? And then those two issues.
Thank you very much. ENCA, you said, Bafedile Mwerani. We, amongst the team that are deployed during the election, it's the social media monitoring team that is continuously updating the NatJoints of any of such warnings that are being issued sporadically across the country that are election related. Yes, we are aware of such, as we have put plans in place. I did indicate it last week that part of our rollout plan was to also do simulation exercise for any eventuality. Should this be executed, we will rise above that occasion. We are not saying it will not happen. We are aware and we have put measures in place to respond accordingly. On the second last question, Newsroom Africa, on the hotspots, numbers have not increased. We are still on that 632 numbers of our high-risk voting stations. We're still working on the 632. The last question?
The last question,
social media
social media
accounts.
accounts.
Of political parties that have been.
Any specific social
specific-
media accounts that we are monitoring?
We are monitoring social media, not any person in particular. So the team is alerting on intelligence collection on the social media space without being specific to any party or any particular individual in the country.
Colleagues, more questions? Nozintombi?
Thank you very much. My name is Dominic from SNCC News. It's just follow up on both of my colleagues' questions. You know, you mentioned very briefly the issue of contingency plans, but if you could maybe just give us a little bit more clarity about it. You sound like you're up to the task, but the reality is there's nothing that's set in stone. So what sort of, if you can give us an idea of what contingency plans you have in place? I mean, you have over 600 hotspot areas that you're looking at. That's very vast. Could you give us an idea of what the top 5 hotspot areas are? And for the SNDF, what role will the SNDF be playing, and will they be using you know, live ammunition in their patrolling? Why I ask this is because every time we've had SNDF coming in to assist internally, it's led to issues.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
I saw this statement from the IEC talking about the breach at certain warehouses in KZN. Are you aware of this as the police, and what measures are you putting in place to safeguard the IEC material, particularly in that area?
All right. I do believe, General, we do have a few online questions. We'll request Mr. Baloy to take us through that in the next round. But let's just respond to the contingency plans. I think Nozintombi, you know, just like KFC, we don't give out our recipe and go into details, right? So we obviously wouldn't give out those details, but let me head over to the General to respond to that.
I think you're right, Brigadier Mate, and she knows very well that a plan is a plan, it's a security plan, and I'm not in any way going to elaborate any one paragraph of the plan. It is a security plan, and it is dealt with accordingly in accordance to the security measures. The 600, it's what it's been classified, 632 high-risk voting station with no order of priority. They become 600, and the plan to mitigate any eventuality is as per the deployment plan that you are having, to say, if you have 5 high-risk stations, how will you do your deployment, and what will then be other plans that will unfold to ensure the safety of the voters. So that is in place at all 632 of them equally. There is no one that will receive a particular preference. And the high risk is treated as high risk irrespective of where or how often will receive alert. If it doesn't removed from the list of the high risk station, it is attended to accordingly. I will then leave the other one to my colleague to respond, but the breach at warehouse in KZN, it is true that IEC have issued. What I'm going to respond on is what is in place to mitigate challenges such as this when they happen. We do have a distribution plan in place that is categorized in terms of non-security material and security material. So there, again, in terms of that category, there is a deployment that unfolds that will equal the type of material that is being distributed or transported. And in this case, I think the Prof. Joins have responded accordingly, and IEC is continuing to put stringent measure further. What I can indicate on this part is that we do have authorized persons we do have authorized agencies in place to respond to this type of issues, including the access to certain areas where these materials are kept. As we were assisting the IEC in the security plan, we do work together with them, and officials on the ground knows how to respond and when to respond. We want to emphasize to the political parties or political members not to interfere with these security issues. If they are unauthorized to be in certain areas, they are unauthorized, and such transgression will be responded to accordingly.
Absolutely.
General
Sangweni?
Sangweni?
Thank you, Co-Chair. Nozintombi inquired the role of the SNDF. The SNDF is on standby as a force multiplier to assist and respond to support the SAPS and other security cluster entities if and when there is a need. And the issue of the need is situational. If the situation goes beyond the control or the SAPS required to be strengthened, then the SNDF will deploy various roles, and I believe most of us are aware that for many years, the various elections, the SNDF was deployed and assisted very much, and there were good issues. As we have said, there's been issues. When there are situations when you cannot access certain areas, the SNDF plays a role there, so there's no change as of today. I'm happy that she mentioned that there's been very good issues on various occasions where the SNDF, if and when we come in, is when there is necessity. And we always carry our weapons and live ammunition like all other security cluster functionaries. But those weapons are not to our people. It's for if the situation goes beyond by those who do criminal activities. We are a defense force of the people, by the people, from the people. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, General. Online, I think this is the last round of questions. Online.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brigadier. I think we have 3 questions online. Though the first one has been answered, but I'll read it for the record. It's from Natasha from News 24. The question is, the IEC has reported a breach at certain warehouses in KwaZulu-Natal housing election materials. Are the subs aware of this? Are there any additional measures being taken to ensure electoral materials are safeguarded given the heightened risk in these elections? The second question is from Ukuhle Hlati from the Cape Times. The question is, security concerns are being expressed after incidents in relation to activities at the IEC storage sites in Chesterfield and Hammarsdale. A video of the Hammarsdale incident is also on social media. There is also another video in Mpumalanga where police are seen moving ballots at night. Where the police called to remove the materials or respond to the incidents? How many similar incidents of this nature have been reported? Lastly, how many stations across the country have been identified as high risk? The last one, it's from Drayton, from Network Firelweta. The question is, POPCRU is making some serious allegations that some senior police managers are trying to derail the elections. Is the police management aware of such allegations, and has it been addressed? Has engagements been held with police members to ensure stability within the organization during the elections? Those are the 3 questions from online.
All right, thank you. Online, I do believe the security breaches aspect has been covered. We've also covered the issue of the high risks. I think the General will just take us through the allegations made by POP Group.
Thank you very much. Dr. William, POPRU allegations. POPRU it's one of our strategic partners in the South African Police Service. We work with them from time to time, and we engage at the platforms that are so made. And in this case as well, there are those systems that are in place of engagements. Matters will not be responded to or be engaged on the media space because we do have such platform and the systems in place. Should there be a need to engage, we will engage accordingly. On the issues of the stations that have been identified to have the similar security challenges as the one that is known to the NatJoints, which is the incident in KZN, I would have included those cases on the 27 reported cases to date, if there are any. We do not have any such report that came through the systems that are in place that suggests that there is any other station that we had a challenge with to date or up to this point. And if that is the case, we will update the reported and recorded incidents. Security concerns, as I have been reiterating through our media briefings, that all three phases of our operational plan, we include the 5 concentric operational concept, which is intelligence collection, crime prevention, crime combating, reaction through investigation, and communication. Every day we do get intelligence brief that will then suggest if there is any such challenge, and we will put measures in place to respond. Therefore, if any of the incidents are of concern, we responded to the prior incidents, and we will respond to any incident if it does happen. With the deployments in place, as I've indicated, that we are on the second phase of our deployment, which look closely, more focused, we are going to do so, and more stringent measures are put in place to ensure that we mitigate any of such challenges if experienced. The first or the last question was responded to, that related to any additional security in KZN, which I've indicated that yes, from what was reported, it did require that we need to revisit if that plan of responding was not adequate to put more security measures into the warehouse. This includes that if there is a need to safeguard the warehouses over and above the security measures as agreed with the IEC, the joint structure, of which IEC is part of, we are going to up our game, where we are going to have patrols. If there is a need to have a static deployment, that will happen. Where there is a static deployment and we are still found wanting, we will increase the security in terms of looking at other security measures that we are having in place. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, thank you, Generals. We've now come to the end of our briefing. Colleagues, thank you for your presence. We will continue to provide an update to the nation on the safety and security measures. So until next time, keep well. Thank you.